Greetings and welcome. I'm Ethlon, and today I'm going to show you how to launch a WordPress website on Cloudways. It's very simple. Let's get started. So what we want to do here is follow these 8 steps. I had a previous video where I showed you how to launch a WordPress website with WooCommerce on Cloudways. I've just added one more step for clarity. Let's get started as follows. So what you want to do is visit the Cloudways website. And there you'll see a get started for free button. You can click this and then register for free. You'll be able to launch your cloud server and give it a free trial. So it'll actually cost you nothing. Between 3 and 14 days, depending on what platform you want to actually use, be that DigitalOcean, be it Vultr or AWS, etc. Anyway, let's get started. So what you want to do here, once logged in, is you want to hit the launch button. Now we're going to start, or rather choose, which platform we want to install our WordPress website on. Now to get started here, we'll select the application. As said, we want to install WordPress. Currently it's version 4.92, so I'm going to select that. Previously in my previous video, we actually installed version 4.92 with WooCommerce version 3.6. That'll install a WordPress with WooCommerce. We, in this case, just want to install WordPress, so that's what we'll choose. And as you can see here, if you wanted multi-site, you could install that, or you could install a clean version, which says no Cloudways optimization. Cloudways will optimize WordPress on their servers with things like varnish and a few other tweaks that they've made to give it super performance. So if you wanted a very clean install with none of those optimizations, you can even select that. For our purposes, we're going to select version 4.92 WordPress. Now what we need to do is give a name to our app. As stated, typically I will use a domain name. So for this one, let's just call this testdomain.com. Now what this will do is help you to recognize what actually the app is. Now we also need a name for our server. I'm going to call this Test Cloud 1, and then a name for the project. Yeah, I've just called it Test Project 1. That's fine. Any name you want to help you identify what is on the server. Now remember, we are actually provisioning a cloud server, and you can have multiple apps on your cloud server, or multiple installs of WordPress, multiple websites in other words. So let's say, for example, you had a client website on here and you wanted to install a second website, or a third or fourth and so on, you could do that. So just keep that in mind, you know, that the name of your managed app, the name of your managed server and your project is relevant and makes sense, so that if you've got multiple on your server, you'll be able to track back and find out exactly you know, what it is that you have got installed on the particular server. Anyway, let's carry on here. Now we can select the platform that we want to use. Once again, I'm going to select Vultr. DigitalOcean is actually a little cheaper. It is selected at the moment, and the droplet size, or the server size, is 1 gig. And in the bottom left here, you can actually see the price that you're going to pay, which is $10 monthly for a 1 gig server with 1 gig of RAM. Very, very reasonable. There's the Linode, $12, slightly more expensive, and then there's Vultr, which is also $11, slightly more expensive. I'm going to stick with Vultr for this demo. I'm going to select a 1 gig droplet size, or 1 gig server size. If you wanted a bigger server, for example, you needed more resources, maybe your website, you know, was a very busy website or had a lot more traffic, etc. All you then can do is just use the slider and select the size that you want. I mean, this would, for example, be 4 gigs of RAM on a 60 gig SSD disk, 3 terabytes worth of monthly transfer, and 2 core processor. You can see the price there has gone up. So select whatever you need. I mean, there are massive servers here, obviously with a massive price, but that would be a server for an extremely busy website. For the purposes of our demo, I'm going to select the 1 gig. Now we need to select the location. Where in the world would I like my server to be installed? Now remember, wherever your target audience is, you want to install your server to a location typically that is closest to your target audience. So let's say, for example, my audience was in Europe. I would either go for example, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, London. I'm going to select EU London in this instance. There are many other locations all across the world that you can select. And that's it. We are now ready. Everything looks good. I'm going to pay $11 per month for my server. Before I forget, let me mention that hourly rate. Let's say, for example, you only had the server up for 5 hours or 10 hours or a day or 3 days, etc., or a week or whatever. Let's say you wanted to use it for staging. That's the rate you would pay per hour. So if you were using it for 10 hours, you could just times that price there by 10. So it's very affordable, an easy way to spin up a server very quickly with WordPress. Let's say you had to do some testing or something along those lines. For staging servers, very useful as well. Anyway, that's what we've got here. Once I'm happy with everything, I click the Launch Now button, and my server is now being added. I'll then get a message here. Your high-speed application will be ready in approximately 13 minutes. So it'll take a couple of minutes. Once it's ready, you'll get an email saying that your server is ready. And it's literally as simple as that. I now have my server installed, set up with WordPress, optimized in London. Now, for what it's worth, if you needed to add a second or third or fourth server, you could do that right here. You could also add other apps, but that's something for another video. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got some benefit out of that. And what I'd also like to ask is, if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Take care, all the best. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.